What is up everybody, and welcome back to my first video. And today I'll be talking about how I made my first Unreal Engine game in just under 2 weeks. Now, to give some context, I've been learning Unreal for about 4 months, but this is my first project from start to published. I made my game Golden Jungle as part of the Lost Worlds Game Jam lasting 12 days, hosted by Matt Aspland, a massive Unreal Engine YouTuber. I published it for free on itch.io, so that means you can play it, but remember, this is a first prototype. And with about 15 hours of work and just as much editing, I present to you the story of how I did it. Starting directly off with day 1, I did absolutely nothing. I had a lot of homework and not many ideas for what to start, so I just didn't do anything. But on day 2 is where the real fun began. I started setting the story and what I want the game to look like. I decided to think of lost places, and I was looking at things like Babylon and Atlantis, but I couldn't really find something I liked. I kept searching until I found the lost city of gold. Ironic. El Dorado was a mythical city that Europeans were searching for in their first conquest of South America. I wanted to echo this by making you the explorer who searches through dangerous terrain to find that city. So with that, on day 2, I started some basic level design and landscape. I imagined a city of gold lost in a jungle/rainforest and started picking out assets and adjusting them to the right vibe. I wanted it to be in a valley with massive mountains looming over you, so I decided to do that as well. Next, on day 3, I continued working on level design by working on the trees and tinting them with a dark green vibe to fit the rainforest setting. I also made the sky, which I considered very important to the setting. I was going for a gray sky with a rainy, foggy atmosphere, and I feel like I did that really well. Although it might not be optimized because I've heard some people say comments about exponential height fog not being so effective and maybe reducing performance, but I didn't really have anything to do and I needed a quick short-term solution. And then on day 4, I did nothing again. I do realize that part of the reason that maybe I didn't do so good and maybe I didn't get the result that I was hoping for was because I did miss a couple days. But that's alright, I was more doing this for fun and a learning experience. So, on day 5, something happened. I was trying to import meshes for weapons and I got a question that said something about the bones for the character not being compatible and if I want to remake the bones. I said yes because I didn't know what to do and I'd never had that show up before, and I ended up making my entire third-person character lose all of its animations. And in the animation blueprint, it just lost them as well. If anyone knows what this means and how to fix it, please tell me in the comments. But I hadn't made much progress yet, so I persevered and restarted my entire project. On day 6, I realized it was day 6, and we were halfway done, and I thought I needed to start getting actual gameplay elements in, rather than just a landscape, so I made a simple hotbar, inventory, and weapon system. For this, I wanted something similar to my big game that I'm working on, which you're going to see a video about later, which is a hotbar and a visual display, the items. But I'm making it so you can't pick up weapons, so the weapons you have are the ones you were locked with. This narrows down the scope of the game because the pickup systems are really hard, as you're going to see with my main project. Simple like fakes that I did, but it's really not optimized for like bigger projects if I want to have thousands of items. So if any of you guys have any better fakes, because right now what I'm doing, if I press 1 and want to equip the axe, I'm just going to attach the gun to the back socket. So just put the gun to the holster immediately, and then put the axe to the hand. And same thing with this. Same thing with the gun. If I press 2, that means I want to equip the gun, which means the axe just goes away and I pull out the gun. But of course, if I have like, instead of these 2 items, if I have like 100 items, then that's not really that efficient of a fix. So if any of you in the comments know any efficient fixes, any tutorials, preferably tutorials on how to make this more efficient, then please put them in the comments. And then I logged in on day 7, which was also probably my most productive day, where I got the inventory system working, I got the hotbar to update when you click the number keys, I got the attack animations done, and I made the damage. The things I wanted in the inventory were a machete as a weapon, but I just couldn't get any Sketchfab models to import or work, even if I imported them. I tried like 10. I also wanted to have a pistol with a certain amount of shots, just for long-range self-defense, which I got imported, but in the end never got setting it up. I also wanted a med pack, which I did get set up, torch, and some sort of rune or ancient script decoder. I originally wanted to make a puzzle you have to solve in order to find or open the gates to the city. I'm not sure yet, that's for a later time. But of course, I had to not implement all of these. The only ones I ended up keeping, like I said, were the axe and the health bar, the health regen. I also just want to mention that I'm doing this game jam to have fun and get some recognition, but also polish and review my skills that I learned earlier. I have the exact same inventory system in my actual first game, of course more complicated, but this game is also a way to deepen my understanding of the code that I'm learning. Tutorials don't break down what every little thing means, so analyzing the code and putting my own twists to it really boosts my knowledge. It's also really satisfying for me to see the different ways I combine different coding styles from tutorials I watch, add my own tweaks to make the code fit my game. And it motivates me because it shows me that I'm actually learning this massive world of game dev. With that message and a good night's sleep, we move on to day 8. Day 8 was another productive day where I set up the enemy AI that the player will fight, set up a way for them to fight back, and start their health. I didn't end up finishing their health because there was a bug with the player damage, so I didn't actually know if it worked. I also made the player health. Originally, I wanted the game to be first person, but for some reason it looked weird and glitched out sometimes, so I changed it back to third. Overall, it was a very productive 2.5 hour session, but I got burned out and kinda mad that the player attack wasn't working. I decided to take a break and play some Chivalry. But then we were back on an important day 10, where we started working on smaller but still important game features. I made the death and respawn system and fixed the attack system. I didn't actually know what was up with the attack system, but it fixed when I changed the sphere trace by channel to sphere trace for objects, I think. I also did some level design. And at this time I realized I only had 3 days left and I thought I had 5. So I knew I needed to change the scope of the game. I needed to make it smaller, which meant removing 3 inventory slots and future items. I also needed to learn sound design in 2 days. By the way, I've never done sound design. I decided to do it last on my actual game, so I haven't even looked into it. My goals for day 11 was to get custom character and enemy meshes in, hopefully add a heal system, and get all of the level design done. The level design was also going to be hard because I didn't even start thinking about what the City of Gold would look like. Later that day, I had a sudden realization that this could have actually been my last day to work on this because I was extremely busy for the next 2 days, and by then submissions would close. I was kind of disappointed, but realized that I had skipped half the days to work on it, thinking I've had plenty of time, and I was kind of screwed. But nevertheless, on day 11, my thing was cancelled, which meant what I thought was an unfortunate disaster turned into a great success. I was happy, but I knew I couldn't waste any time, and waste no time I did as I worked from 4 PM to 7, 8 and 10 minutes, and got right back to work up until 9. Yup, you got it. All day. But I made massive progress in finishing the much needed level design, adding a main menu, and just polishing up the game in general. I didn't add a game over screen or pause menu because I just simply had no time. And early the next morning, I watched some tutorials really quickly and submitted the game. Unbeknownst to me at the time, I had done it completely wrong. I hadn't baked or packaged or zipped anything. Some helpful people in the itch.io comments helped me out, and 2 days before voting ended, I got it submitted correctly. The feedback and support was insane. I got so many valuable things that I needed to improve and so many things people like. Thank you so much Matt Asplan, Among the Willows, Harry Diz, and Multivite. They all helped me out and commented, gave me feedback, and helped me submit it correctly. I'm super glad with what the game ended up being, and I'll keep working on it if you guys want me to. This was an amazing experience and I hope to do it again soon. Thanks so much if you made it to the very end. Comment down below if you want me to continue this, and go try my game on itch.io now. Golden Jungle on itch.io. Thanks so much, and I hope you have an amazing day. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys next time.